The crystalline chandeliers of Dubai International Airport cast rainbow fragments across the marble floors as Sophia Martinez adjusted her vintage Chanel blazer and checked her diamond Cartier watch. At 28, she was the youngest creative director in her luxury fashion house's history. Flying first class to Milan Fashion Week with a portfolio worth millions and a heart that had forgotten how to feel. Her heels clicked against the pristine floor as she navigated through the bustling terminal, her assistant trailing behind with designer luggage. Everything about Sophia screamed success, from her perfectly styled auburn hair to her limited edition bag. Yet behind her carefully applied makeup and confident stride, she carried an emptiness that no amount of wealth could fill. "Gate A23, ma'am," her assistant informed her, struggling with the luggage. Sophia barely acknowledged him, her attention fixed on her phone, where notifications of praise for her latest campaign flooded in. She was untouchable, unreachable, and utterly alone. As she approached the premium lounge, something unusual caught her eye. Near the children's play area, an elderly woman sat on a simple plastic chair, her weathered hands clutching a faded photograph. Her clothes were clean, but clearly secondhand, a stark contrast to the designer-clad travelers surrounding her. What struck Sophia most wasn't the woman's modest appearance, but the way airport security kept approaching her, their expressions growing increasingly impatient. Sophia paused, her instinct telling her to keep walking. She had a reputation to maintain, meetings to prepare for, a world that demanded her constant attention. But something about the woman's gentle dignity amid the chaos made her feet stop moving. The old woman, Maria, had traveled from a small village in the Philippines. Her granddaughter, Alina, was supposed to pick her up, but a mix-up with flight schedules had left Maria stranded for over 6 hours. She spoke little English, carried an old Nokia phone with a dead battery, and had only enough money for her connecting flight home, not for international calls or airport services. "Ma'am, you can't stay here without a boarding pass for this area," a security guard was saying, his voice firm but not unkind. Maria nodded, not understanding, but sensing she was unwelcome. She gathered her small cloth bag and stood slowly, her arthritic joints protesting. The photograph fluttered to the ground, a picture of a beautiful young woman in a graduation gown, smiling radiantly at the camera. Without thinking, Sophia stepped forward and picked up the photograph. "Is this your granddaughter?" Maria's eyes lit up with hope. "Lena," she whispered, then launched into rapid Tagalog, gesturing between the photo and herself. Sophia's heart clenched unexpectedly. Despite not understanding the words, she felt the universal language of a grandmother's love. In that moment, Maria reminded her of her own Abuela Carmen, who had raised her after her parents died and who she barely visited in the past 2 years, too consumed with building her empire. "What's the problem here?" Sophia asked the security guard, her voice carrying the authority of someone accustomed to being heard. "She's been here for hours. Her ride never showed, and she can't stay in this area without proper documentation." Sophia looked back at Maria, who was watching the exchange with hopeful eyes. Something shifted inside her chest, a crack in the wall she'd built around her heart. "Does she have a phone number for her granddaughter?" The security guard shrugged. "She showed me a piece of paper, but her phone's dead, and she doesn't seem to understand our directions to the communication center." Sophia made a decision that would change everything. "Come with me," she said gently to Maria, extending her manicured hand. Maria hesitated, then placed her weathered fingers in Sophia's smooth ones. For the next hour, Sophia transformed from untouchable executive to determined helper. She used her influence to access premium services, her multiple language skills from her international business dealings, and her resources to track down Alina. It turned out Alina was stuck in traffic from a massive accident and had no way to contact her grandmother. As they waited in the VIP lounge, Sophia had insisted Maria join her there. Something beautiful began to unfold. Despite the language barrier, the two women started communicating through gestures, smiles, and the few English and Spanish words Maria knew. Maria showed Sophia more photographs. Elena's wedding, her first job as a nurse, the small house Maria had helped buy with her life savings from working as a seamstress. "Beautiful," Sophia whispered, studying the photos. In Maria's weathered hands and proud smile, she saw something she'd lost along her climb to success: the simple joy of loving someone more than yourself. Maria, sensing Sophia's sadness beneath her glamorous exterior, did something unexpected. She reached into her cloth bag and pulled out a small, hand-embroidered handkerchief. With gentle fingers, she tucked it into Sophia's designer purse, patting her hand and speaking softly in Tagalog. She's saying you have kind heart, but you're sad, a passing Filipino businessman translated, having overheard. She wants you to know that success without love is just beautiful. Emptiness. Tears threatened Sophia's perfectly applied mascara. When had she become so isolated? When had achievement replaced connection? When Elena finally arrived, the reunion was magical. The young nurse, still in scrubs from her shift, embraced her grandmother with tears streaming down her face. She thanked Sophia repeatedly, amazed that a stranger had cared for Maria so tenderly. "She gave you something, didn't she?" Lena asked, noticing the handkerchief peeking from Sophia's purse. "Lola only gives those to people she believes need healing. She made that one during my father's illness. She said the stitches hold prayers for broken hearts." As Sophia watched the grandmother and granddaughter walk away, arm in arm, sharing stories and laughter, she felt a profound shift in her soul. She pulled out her phone and, instead of checking emails, dialed a number she'd neglected for too long. "Abuela Carmen, it's Sophia. I know it's late, but I was thinking about you." The conversation lasted until her flight boarded. For the first time in years, Sophia missed a business call, ignored urgent emails, and let her assistant handle the logistics while she simply sat, holding Maria's handkerchief and remembering who she used to be. On the plane to Milan, instead of working on her presentation, Sophia sketched designs inspired by Maria's gentle strength and Elena's devoted love. Her next collection, she decided, would be called Invisible Beauty, dedicated to the unsung heroes whose kindness keeps the world spinning. 6 months later, Sophia returned to Dubai Airport, not as a passenger, but as a volunteer with a foundation she started, Connecting Hearts, which helped stranded travelers and supported elderly individuals traveling alone. She wore less makeup now, smiled more genuinely, and had learned basic phrases in 12 languages to help people like Maria. The airport staff recognized her not for her designer clothes, but for her kindness. And every time she helped someone, she touched the small handkerchief she now carried everywhere, a reminder that true glamour isn't about what you wear, but how you make others feel. In that gleaming airport, among strangers rushing to their destinations, Sophia had discovered the most beautiful truth. Kindness is the only luxury that makes us truly rich, and love is the only success that really matters. The woman who had once been untouchable had learned to touch hearts instead. And in saving Maria's day, she had saved her own soul. Like and subscribe for more videos.